Today we are venturing into the complex journey of Ralph, a central figure in William Golding's Lord of the Flies. Complete all character lessons to earn a badge at the end. In total, we will be exploring 3 of Ralph's characteristics. Today we will be focusing on the first, his leadership. Ralph's leadership declines as the plot progresses. At the beginning of the novel, Golding presents Ralph as a charismatic, robust, and a natural-born leader who democratically assumes leadership. However, as the novel progresses, Ralph's attempts to maintain order and lawfulness are disregarded by many of the boys, who find Jack's propositions of hunting and revelry much more exciting, leading to a complete loss of authority at the end of the novel. Let's begin! Golding's initial illustrations of Ralph provides the reader with a first impression of Ralph's physical athleticism and his calm, commanding stature. For example, in Chapter 1, the narrator describes Ralph saying, "You could see now that he might make a boxer as far as width and heaviness of shoulders went, but there was a mildness about his mouth and eyes that proclaimed no devil." This quote highlights Ralph's strong and athletic build, which sets him apart physically. However, the mildness in his mouth and eyes suggests a gentle and kind nature. Another quote from the same chapter states, "But there was a stillness about Ralph as he sat that marked him out. There was his size and attractive appearance." Ralph is presented by Golding as unique from the other boys on the island in his commanding physicality, from his robust athleticism to the composed and disciplined evident in the stillness of his body language and the mildness in his mouth and eyes. Golding suggests that Ralph is of a firm but temperate disposition, and that this makes for a strong but fair leader. Now, a crucial point to note in our study of Ralph as a leader is that he gradually loses control of the boys as the hysteria of the beast heightens. The rules and social structures put in place at the beginning of the novel, the organization and categorizations, begin to fall apart. This is clear when we read,
"The rules!"
shouted Ralph.
"You're breaking the rules!" "Who cares?"
Ralph summoned his wits.
"Because the rules are the only thing we've got."
The assembly in Chapter 5 is a convergence of different opinions, priorities, and dissent, as all the different groups of boys that have formed before now come to listen to Ralph speak. Ralph reminds the boys that the rules are all they have got. The rules are the social structures put into place so that the stranded boys can emulate civilized society, remember their humanity, and recognize themselves. However, it is in this passage the breakdown of order and civilization begins, as some of the boys find that there are no real consequences to their rule-breaking, which is terrifyingly exhilarating. Jack's crude use of profanity is fully defiant of Ralph's authority, and his maniacal declarations of bloodlust, "We'll close in and beat, beat, beat," is not only out of line in its lawless content, but also by virtue of his speaking out of turn. There is an uneasiness as the other boys are whipped into a supportive fervour by Jack. The noise and excitement, the scramblings and screams and laughter are all disordered and animalistic. It is suggested through this chaotic sound world, synecdochical disembodiments made uncertain by the darkness of night, that the boys are losing their humanity and civilization, as Ralph's position of leader is directly undermined. Moving on to our third and final example, in the final chapter of the novel, The Cry of the Hunters, Ralph is shown to have completely lost his authority and control when Jack and his tribe of hunters hunt for him, like they would pigs. Golding casts Ralph into the role of outcast and then prey. His weakness is emphasized by his complete isolation at this point in the novel, with his closest friends and loyal allies killed or kidnapped. This is captured in the quote, "They had smoked him out and set the island on fire." Here, the hunters' strategic and cunning use of fire to smoke Ralph out is reminiscent of warfare. Indeed, the scorching of the island increases the literal heat of their surroundings and creates a sort of hell for Ralph, and casts the hunters as savage demons. The island's burning is symbolic of the total destruction of Ralph's project of civilized society. Ralph is completely helpless in these final moments of the novel. He is completely isolated, without allies. His authority has completely disintegrated as the other boys now seek to kill him. It is only at the end of the novel that the adult naval officer steps in as a deus ex machina, which means a person or thing that appears in a situation suddenly and unexpectedly which provides a solution, saving Ralph from the barbaric madness of the would-be murderers. And that brings us to the end of today's lesson, students. We explored how Ralph starts as a strong and composed leader, but then struggles to maintain control as the boys reject rules and civilization in favor of chaos. Finally, we saw Ralph's complete loss of authority as he is hunted, symbolizing the destruction of order and society. I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson, where we will explore Ralph further.